Hello everyone. Today, let's discuss about method overloading, or compile time polymorphism in Java. Have you ever wanted to use the same method name to do different things? Well, that's exactly what method overloading lets you do. It allows you to use the same method name, but change things up by passing different types or numbers of arguments. So you get cleaner, more readable code without repeating method names for every variation. Alright, so in Java, two methods are said to be overloaded when they have the same name and differ in the arguments. The difference in parameters can be in the type, the number, or even the order of the parameters. Let's see with an example. These two are now overloaded methods because they share the same name but have different arguments. In this case, the difference is in the type of the arguments. First display method takes int arguments and second takes float. Let's see another example with parameters differ in the number of arguments. Here, the two methods have the same name but differ in the number of arguments. These two are now overloaded methods. Alright, so now we know when two methods are considered overloaded. But it's also important to know when they're not overloaded. There are a few tricky areas that can be confusing, like changes in return type, access modifiers, or even the exceptions a method throws. Let's take a closer look at those. Let's start with return types. If two methods have the same name and the same parameters, but only differ in their return type as seen here, sorry, that's not overloading. In fact, if you try to put them in the same class, the compiler will throw an error because their method signatures are exactly the same. And yep, we've already talked about method signatures in one of our earlier sessions. Changing just the access modifiers, like public, private, or protected, doesn't make methods overloaded either. Also, changing only the exceptions a method throws doesn't count as overloading. You can have two methods with the same name and parameters, but if the only difference is in the throws clause, they're still considered the same method, and the compiler will throw an error. Overloading strictly depends on differences in the parameter list. Ever wondered why it's called compile time polymorphism? Because Java's compiler is the boss here. Well, think of it like this. Java's compiler is like that super organized friend who wants everything sorted before the party starts. So when you call an overloaded method, the compiler checks the method name and the parameters and says, "Ah, I know exactly which one you mean," right there at compile time. So method overloading is also known as compile time polymorphism, or early binding, or static polymorphism. Well, that's all about the basics of method overloading. Let's do a quick recap. We saw that methods are overloaded when they have the same name but different parameter lists. The difference can be in the number, type, or order of parameters. We also learned that changing just the return type, access modifier, or exceptions doesn't count as overloading. And of course, it's called compile time polymorphism because the compiler decides which method to call based on the arguments before the program even runs. Now that we've nailed the basics of overloading, get ready. Because in the next video, we're diving into some interesting edge cases and gotchas you don't want to miss. Until then, revise what we've covered. And if you liked the content, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It really helps the channel and keeps the content coming. See you in the next one. And thanks for watching.